So most of you know who OGRIP is, so I won't belittle this slide for long. The Ohio Geographically Referenced Information Program. We are made up of mainly the council that we support from the Department of the Department of Administrative Services. We are housed in the IT department, and we are kind of here to support the OGRIP Council, which is made up of local government, education, and state government entities. So you should be represented, and later on in the slides, I'll have a link to our website in case you need to look up who is your representative. Major projects that OGRIP is working on. Some of these things that I'm talking about are ongoing, like the OSIP imagery program, and 3DEP is kind of a newer one. You've heard from Cindy Rachel from the USGS. That is the LiDAR data collection for the state. This is the third year. We'll be wrapping that up and starting to receive data for phase 3 here in the next couple of months. On our website, we've already got phase 1 and 2 available for download. And then getting back to OSIP, that is, we're in OSIP 3. That is wrapping up. That is the third iteration. I know Tom earlier mentioned that is a 2006 is when we first started OSIP 1. So this third iteration is wrapping up, and we are preparing for OSIP 4. So that will be very much the same as all the others, a little higher resolution, same ability to have local government purchase through the cooperative purchase agreement. So that'll still be there. Some of these are kind of tied together, like the SORP, the state-owned real property, is very closely tied together with the parcel initiative that many of you are aware of, how we're trying to collect copies of county government data sets in hopes to piece together a statewide state-owned real property database. That's something by ORC we are tasked with doing annually. So having this parcel data layer will be very helpful in doing that. The 3DHP, that's a newer program that we're hoping to get off the ground, another partnership with USGS. What that will be is a hydrography data set that is tied to the LiDAR data. So it will be derived from the LiDAR. It eventually appears that it will replace the NHD data set down the road. It is a high resolution, high accuracy surface water data set. And then some of these other data collaboration layers we've been talking about quite a bit. I mentioned parcels already, LBRS, that's been ongoing for a long time. That's going to be very important for Next Gen 911. In fact, we'll talk about that a little bit on the next slide. And some of the other data sets that you're already providing to the state, municipal boundaries, tax districts, and school districts. Those are things that we want to try to collect and bring together in our new hub site as initiatives. So there'll be more on that as we get further along in our process for that. I mentioned Next Gen 911. I wanted to talk a little bit about how that's going to be very beneficial for you folks. Earlier this week, we had the OGRIP forum refresh. So the first time in a couple of years, I brought that back so we could start talking directly to the GIS community. One thing I did mention was with the Next Gen 911 getting past it will have a funding mechanism for data development. So that's one benefit. And then also wanted to mention, and I think I missed this at the forum, that OGRIP is looking to kind of scratch your back, for all this data that you're providing the state by giving you an opportunity to host imagery downloads for the public for you, if that's what you want. It's an option, so you don't have to host that data yourself. I know that can get pretty expensive, especially the more imagery you collect. So we're already doing that, or should be. So it should be no big deal. We do have some stipulations around it. I don't want to host services for every county. I don't think I have the resources for that. and all the data has to have been collected under the OSIP program. We can make some wheeling and dealing outside of any imagery outside of that program, but for the most part, I wanted to keep it within that parameter. And we can talk more about that later too. And since I did mention we had the OGRIP forum just this week, talked about kicking out some questions for you folks. Oh, I'm on the wrong slide here. Yeah. Next Gen 911. So here are the 4 required data sets. So road center lines and addresses, that's our LBRS data set. I've already discussed this with you. And then there's the other 3. So you got PSAT boundaries, emergency service zones, and provisioning boundaries. Those are kind of your core data sets that you're going to need for Next Gen 911. Those are common questions that I get. So I reached out to the 911 coordinator and came up with this list from the NENA standards. So just so you folks know. And then here's the OGRIP forum that I was talking about. I mentioned putting out a survey so that you folks could have input on how that forum should be conducted. So if you would please take a look at that survey. Depending on how many results I see come in, I could pass this link off to Tom and share the dashboard of it. Otherwise, I will share that information at the next forum. That's not until August, so it'll be a while. And that is all I have